there any reason why we're like right-sided? Who's right-sided? Who uses like right-handed? Okay. All right. Maybe that's like a power center right there. We're gonna balance this out. I feel like we're on a ship, though. I just feel like. But that's me. Who came like Friday night traffic in LA? Yeah, I know. We'll get grounded real quick. I promise you. Who's heard of Michael Simonson before? Who has not heard of Michael before? Who has been guided to come here tonight because they just had an intuition about Michael Simonson? Excellent. Great. I think we should start. I'm going to start with an intro, let a few more people come in. I'm Donna Schumann. Thank you for asking. Okay. I think we're going to start. First of all, I wanted to welcome everybody to the October Conscious Life Expo, and especially on a Friday night. It's no accident that you're here. Michael Simonson has a wonderful way of guiding and leading people to experience who he is and what he has to say. And I'll just be real brief. I heard about Michael in May. I was told about this amazing energy healer that was coming to Los Angeles. And I was asked if I would help to introduce him to people in the area. And it was the most amazing thing because one person told another, told another, told another, and suddenly there were like house gatherings every night from all over the city, all parts of LA. He did workshops, and real briefly, Michael works, does energy work. He has an energy pilot program at the Hunter School in New Hampshire, and it's a school for autistic children and children with behavioral disorders. And the reason that he came to the school was that the associate director, who's here, her name is Lori Ferris, and she's over in the back of the room. She'll be able to talk to you afterwards. She had a son named Zach. And Zach was in and out of hospitals for over 8 years. They couldn't control him. He was extremely violent. And she was sort of surrendered to the idea that perhaps this man named Michael Simonson, who she was told about, could help Zach. And so she met with him one day, and that was the beginning. Fast forward, Oprah heard about the work that Michael done with Zach and featured him in a 1-hour one-on-one interview with young Zach, and it was called Saving Zach. It was the most amazing interview with a 10-year-old going on 100 who has gone through the ups and downs of life and has learned how to come through the other end through positive and meditation and healing. And a lot of it, most of it, is credited to Michael and his work. So he refers to these children as energetically sensitive children, and I said, but I'm one too. I'm an energetically sensitive child. Let's do something for energetically sensitive souls. And so Michael did a workshop last year, or rather in May, and he's going to be doing one next week. It's going to be full-on, intensive, and it's about the energetically sensitive soul, which I know you all are, and that's why we're here today. So we will be having CD tapes if you wanted to purchase one. They're meditation, but they're also guided energies. They go very, very deep. Michael's message is very simple, but it's very impactful, and it resonates forever. And I'm so grateful that I get to introduce this man. So please give a welcome to Michael Simonson.
Thanks, Donna. Well, welcome, everyone. First of all, I'd ask you not to believe anything that I tell you. One of the reasons there's so much confusion in this world around spirituality and religion is a lot of people don't use discernment. Hello? I guess I'm going to have to almost eat it. Can we get this any higher? Hello? Again, don't believe anything I tell you. And again, the reason for that is, if you're going to come into your power, you have to find your own truth. If you embrace other people's truths, you'll never know your own. And one of the simplest ways to discern whether any spiritual teaching you're given is simply to equate it to the universal law of free will, non-interference. If anything you're given takes away from your free will or requires anything of you that opposes your free will, it's not from the light. Now, it's been a long day. Have any of you here ever wondered what your purpose is? Why humans exist? Down through the ages, a lot of philosophers have said that the greatest question plaguing humanity is why we exist. For me, it's real easy to answer that question. Who here believes in a higher consciousness or source or something that we're all part of? What can we call it? Okay, God, energy, divine source. I'll stick with God and source tonight. Everything is energy. Does everybody know what I mean by energy or vibration or frequency? You've all seen a rainbow? The different colors in a rainbow are simply different frequencies of light. This thing that we call Source or God created the universe to explore all the different ways life could be experienced, could be manifested. The universe is a creation. It has a beginning and an end. This thing that we call Source or God exists outside of creation. Now, the universe that you find yourself in this reality is part of what we call a local universe, which is part of a super universe. The universe is a lot vaster and grander than what human scientists can perceive at this time. But within this local universe that you find yourselves in, there are more realms and worlds for your spirit or soul to explore than there are grains of sand on this planet. It's a big playground. But each realm or dimension has its own unique energy signature or vibration, as do all the realms in the universe. Each realm or dimension has its own unique energy signature or frequency range. Now, in order for this thing that we call Source or God to come into creation, it had to separate aspects of itself and cause those aspects to vibrate within the various frequency ranges within the universe in order to come into creation. Those aspects of Source or God are what humans call their souls or their higher selves or their spirits. So in essence, all of you are aspects of Source or God. All of you have the same attributes or abilities as your parents, do you not? You can do all the things that your parents can do on a physical level. Yes? Be happy, be miserable, enjoy life, eat food, go for walks. Wouldn't it stand to reason then that you would have all the attributes of your spiritual source? Now think about that for a moment. What are the things Source or God cannot do? Unlimited. Now, do you see yourselves as unlimited beings? When you say, I don't know, I can't, I wish, I hope, you instantly deny the truth of who you are. And it doesn't matter how much you meditate or go to workshops. If you think in limited ways, then you deny the truth of who you are. Can you see that? So again, this thing that we call Source created the universe, and it's again a creation, but it's been created to allow evolution. what you call your soul, which again is an aspect of source, also exists outside of creation. And it can see the beginning of the universe, right to the end of the universe, and everything in between. And it is exploring not only this lifetime, but a multitude of other lifetimes. So the reason you exist is to explore your creative abilities. And through exploring your creative abilities in all the different realms or dimensions, you also gain a better understanding of who you are, what it's like to be an unlimited being. This realm is a realm of duality, male, female, hot, cold, light, dark, positive, negative, love, fear. Can I use you as an example? Do you have a good friend? Somebody you love, you like? First name? Stacy? Before all of you came into this world, on a soul level, you got together with your soul buddies and decided what you wanted to experience in this particular lifetime. On that level, a soul level, where you exist outside of time and space, you chose your parents, you chose all the people that were going to come into this level to give you opportunities to explore duality, the positive and the negative. You chose whether to be male or female. And while you were making these choices, you looked at your parents and you saw when they incarnated or when they were born and everything that happened to them and what happened to them or how they left this level. And you explored a bunch of other people that you were choosing to have experiences with. And then when you made all of those choices on a soul level, your soul then, because it exists outside of time and space, had to separate an aspect of itself and cause that aspect to vibrate within the frequency range of what you call the earth plane, this realm of duality. So your soul separated an aspect of itself, which we call a soul aspect. So all of you here are but an aspect of your greater self, or what you call your soul. But even what you call your soul is but an aspect of a greater self. And your soul's greater self or higher self is but an aspect of a greater self. And that greater self is but an aspect of a greater self, all the way up through the universe to what we could say the top floor. Does that make sense to you? Now, your soul doesn't experience pain or suffering. And again, it exists to explore its creative abilities. This is a realm of duality. Who here has had pain in their lives? Suffering, emotional pain, mental pain. Is it any fun? You don't enjoy it? Your soul does. Your soul celebrates it. What you call pain and suffering on this level is a product of your energy fields, your physical body, your energy fields, and the energies of this level. To your soul, though, it doesn't experience pain or suffering, it just has the experience. Have you ever wondered why some people would choose to be born in a part of the world where they can starve, or there's a war going on, or they can experience great abuse? Just because to the soul, that's just an opportunity to explore a realm of duality, explore the energies of fear. So, what's your friend's name again? Stacy. You and Stacy go to Hollywood here and you get jobs in a movie. You're the good guy. Stacy wants to blow the world up if she can't control it. You understand? So the script is written that you're mortal enemies. You hate each other. You despise each other. You resent each other. Yet, at the end of the day, the cameras can shut down, you can go out and have a nice meal, have a wonderful evening, come back to the movie set next day, mortal enemies. Would you let what goes on in the movie affect your love or friendship for Stacy? Why? Her answer was no.
Because it doesn't affect real life.
It's just a movie. Do you understand? This realm that you find yourself in, as far as your soul is concerned, is just like being on a movie set. Again, what you call pain and suffering to your soul would be no different than the pain and suffering that you would act out in the movie if you were to hurt each other in the movie. Do you understand? Can you see that? Now, one of the ways human beings make it really difficult for themselves you can let them in. For these things that I'm talking to you about are what to me I call simple spiritual truths, which are not really taught on this level. I hadn't encountered them until I got into this woo-woo stuff, when I got triggered to open up to my abilities. Had I known these things when I was a little kid, my life would have been a lot different. But because we're not really taught these things, this, compared to the greater universe, this world that you find yourself in is what we call a dark planet. It is not a planet where love rules, compared to the greater universe that is settled in love and light. On this planet, our political systems, our economic systems, our social systems, our governments, our educational systems, our health systems, our cultural systems, for the most part, have a lot of fear in them. We're all brothers and sisters on this planet, but we have many different belief systems that require us to stand in judgment of each other. Can you see that? So, what happens to a lot of human beings when they come into this level, because they're not taught the reality of this level and why they exist, when they get into their chosen negative co-creating experiences with others, because every experience you've had with another human being that is what you call negative, you have chosen on a soul level. But what happens to a lot of human beings, they get into these negative co-creating experiences, give all their power over to the negativity, and then want to shoot the buggers, not realizing that this is one of my soul buddies playing a role in the movie of my life to give me an opportunity to understand creating with these energies. Your purpose to coming into this realm of duality is to explore duality. Male, female, light, dark, hot, cold, creating with positive energies, or what we could call love, or negative energies, or what we could call fear. The soul celebrates all of those, the positive and the negative. There's a lot of healing modalities in this world that teach people to write their problems on a piece of paper and to burn them, or to throw them away, or to see their problems with, going by in a ticker tape in front of their eyes, and to ignore them. You will never come into your power if you do that. The reason for it, again, is your soul learns through experience. So the trick, if you want to deal with the pain in your life, the sorrow, the sadness, the guilt, whatever, is to embrace those energies. To own them, because on a soul level you chose to have those experiences. If you deny any of your co-creating experiences with another being or group of beings, the first thing that you do is you deny your own soul, you deny the light. Does everybody who here judges people? Raise your left hand. Pardon me? Well, we'll start over again. Raise your right hand if you're a loving person. Keep your left hand up if you're a loving person, if you see yourself as a loving person. Come on, guys. Who here is a loving person? Oh, right hand, okay. It's been a long day. Okay, raise your left hand if you judge other people. And anybody who judges another person is somebody who is not a loving person.
Could be a good judgment.
Well, one of the most powerful ways human beings destroy their ability to love is to judge other beings. Now remember, you're all aspects of Source or God. You're all brothers and sisters in the light, or fellow entities in the light. All the great masters who walked the earth plane taught the same thing. If you take all the religious texts on this planet, spiritual texts, self-help books, and you take out the stories and the dogma, you're left with a paragraph on a page of paper. You're a free will being that creates the reality with the thoughts that you empower. To guard your thoughts, to keep them positive, to love unconditionally. You do those things and you'll come into your power real fast. Who here can accept that you're free will beings? What does free will mean to you, ma'am?
Well, you think your thoughts and they materialize.
That's creating.
Yeah.
Free will simply means that you have a source or God-given right to create in whatever way you choose. You can choose to be a loving person or you can choose to be a negative person. Both of them have consequences. When you choose to create from a place of love, you will find yourself opening up to the truth of who you are, an aspect of source. And in doing so, have access to unlimited knowledge and information, to all the information that is contained within the universe. If you choose to create from a place of fear, the first thing you do is you do this to your own soul, to the light, to God, or what you call God. Your energies, of course, also become negative, which destroys your ability to love. Everything is an energy. Love is a high vibration, fear is a low vibration, and all the emotions that fear affords you are a negative vibration. If you're sitting at home and you want to listen to your favorite radio station, you have to adjust your receiver, your radio, to the frequency that station's on in order to access that information. So again, when you allow fear to be your master, you deny the truth of who you are, you destroy your ability to love and to be loved. You also allow yourself to become a puppet to your very fears, because every fear that you experience is a consequence of your own creation, your own consciousness. And when you allow fear to be your master for whatever reason, you are allowing those fears to control you, which again requires you to be totally disempowered. Fear also allows you to share in the negative thoughts and energies of everybody else around you, because like energy likes like energy is connected to like energy. There's always an energy exchange between people's energy fields when they carry similar energies. Everything that you experience in your life is recorded in your energy fields. So if you have a negative experience, a painful experience, you have a packet of negativity in your energy field that reflects that experience. That packet of negativity in your energy field allows you to link to any other human being around you who's also carrying those similar energies. Now getting back to judgment. As I'd mentioned, judgment is the most powerful way, or one of the most powerful ways human beings destroy their ability to love. Now free will again is simply means that you have a God or source-given right to be and to create and to do whatever you choose to do, but so does everybody else. So when you judge other people, do you have a good friend? Or no, you have somebody that really makes you angry? You? Pardon me?
I said, no, not really.
Yes. First name? Pardon me? Suzanne? So you go to bed tonight. You have a wonderful night. You wake up in the morning, you're all happy, and you're looking forward to your day, and then you think about that witch. Of course, you wake up, you're happy, your energies are going to be high, aren't you? And then when you think about Suzanne, she's, the only reason you judge her is because she's not in a positive place, right? You immediately create an energetic, or turn on the energetic link between you and Suzanne. What you will find, your vibrations will drop, hers will increase, because she's feeding off of your life force, because when fear is your master, one of the things that you do, again, as I had mentioned previously, is you deny your own soul. You deny, besides food and water and the odd beer, your physical bodies require source energies to empower your immune system. And your soul aspect inside of your physical bodies requires that source energy to empower your spirit. So, Suzanne, was it? So Suzanne, because she's being ruled by fear in this moment, is denying her ability to draw on her own source to supplement her life force. So her vibrations are going to be low. besides the fears that she's allowing to be her master. So what you will find again is your vibrations dropping. She will find herself feeling better as she feeds off of your life force, and that flow will continue till there's a balance between your two energy fields. Not only will you find yourself now getting tired or exhausted or having less energy, you will also experience the negative thought forms that are ruling her experience. All of you have heard of that wonderful creator on this planet they call Saddam Hussein? Judgment. Not a positive creator, was he? Took great pleasure in torturing, murdering, dominating, having power over people, didn't he? So we could say he was not a positive person, or his soul aspect on this level, which meant that he was unable to draw from his own source or higher self, because we're all from the light, whether we're walking in the darkness or not. Every being that dwells in darkness is a light being exploring darkness. But when they executed him, I believe he was in his mid-60s, he had lots of vitality, charisma, and was fairly healthy. We'll get into that in a moment. Everybody here aware of the energy centers, or what you call chakras? And why they exist? Each of your energy centers is linked to a gland in your physical body. Now, so your energy centers also link your energy bodies together. Your physical body is just one of your bodies on this level. You have an etheric body, a causal body, a mental body, emotional body, and others. The function of the energy centers is to link all of your energy bodies together so that you can exchange information, you can exchange energy. But they also allow you to communicate with other people, physically, and beings that are not in physical embodiment, both positive and negative. But one of the most important things they do is they allow you to draw in from your own soul the source energies necessary to empower your immune system. So again, as I had mentioned, in the base of each of your energy centers is a gland in your physical body, and it is the glands that are the most important organs in your body because they produce all the chemicals, all the hormones, all the enzymes for you to have a functioning body. Have you ever noticed that men usually die before women in this world? Do you know why? I hear that often. Usually, you know, but imagine being a woman, a mother, having 2 or 3 or even 1 kid at home whose job is 24/7, 7 days a week. I meet a lot of guys who just going to work is like going on holidays. But in this world, men have been taught as little boys to be tough and to be strong, not to be weak like girls and women, because they talk about their emotions and feelings. They cry. And they're taught, you know, teach little boys that that's a weakness. So what in reality they're doing is they're teaching little boys to be afraid of expressing their emotions and their feelings. Then they grow up to be young men. Yet in our society, society still expects them to be loving partners to their wives and loving fathers to their children, all the while having that fear inside around being free to express their emotions and feelings, their love. I've worked with a lot of men over the years who are only free to say even to their girlfriends or to their wives, "I love you," when they're getting ready to hop in the sack. And the older they get, those fears build, and over time, those fears will build to a point where the energy center can no longer get the energy it needs to maintain the physical body, so the body shuts down to what you call illness or disease. Mind you, fear is the root cause of all disease on this planet. Cool, isn't it? So, Saddam Hussein had a lot of vitality, charisma, when they executed him. Guess where he got all his energy from? Every single human being who judged him allowed him to feed off of their life force at the expense of their own well-being. Everyone who judged him got to share in the darkness that ruled his soul aspect on this level. Had nobody judged this man in this world, he would have died a long time ago. But everybody who judged him energetically supported him. Again, as I mentioned, judgment is one of the most powerful ways to destroy your ability to love and to be loved, to experience the truth of who you are. Everything, again, that you judge, you are energetically supporting at the expense of your own well-being. Who here is concerned about the environment? Do you judge the people that are destroying the planet through abusing the environment? Anybody? Show of hands. You are supporting those people that are engaged in those practices, which then allows them to have more power to continue doing those things. Can you see that? No, it's not a matter of ignoring them. It's a matter of honoring their free will, their God-given right to create in a negative way. We're all part of a collective consciousness.
You're not supposed to try to stop the.
No, you could say, this is how I would do it. I support your right to be that way, but this is not what I would choose to do. And because when you come from a loving place with no judgments, your thought forms are energy. You will radiate out into the collective consciousness those thought forms that support your own thoughts, your own beliefs. Other people will pick them up. This world will not move into a place of peace or harmony by people getting on soapboxes and telling other people what they should or shouldn't do. All of those people who stand on soapboxes come from judgment. They are serving the darkness, even though in their hearts that is not their intent, but because they lack an understanding of consciousness, how we're all connected, and the energies of love and fear, and how all that works, they end up supporting the very things that they are in judgment of. When I first got into all this woo-woo stuff and realized I could commune with Source in the higher realms, I had many questions around what I perceived to be all the problems in the world. Wars, people harming each other, religions that were fear-based that were only concerned about having power over those that they professed to serve. And every time I would ask Source, what do you think of this problem? What do you think of that problem? Do you know the answer that I got? It's perfect. What do you mean it's perfect? People killing each other, wars, children being abused, starving. It took me a couple weeks to wrap my head around that, but as I understood the bigger picture and why we exist, and the fact that the life that I'm living in this reality is just an illusion as far as my soul is concerned, and this is a realm of duality where we can experience creating with positive and negative energies. And as I started to understand that, then it made sense. Just like in your movie, you would not allow what went on in the movie, how your friend tried to harm you or kill you, affect your love for her, would it? No. Again, the life that you're living here is just the movie that you wrote on a soul level, and everybody that comes into your life in the movie of your life is an actor that you hired on a soul level to play the various roles, to give you opportunities to create with the energies of love and the energies of fear. And all of you will find that when you leave this lifetime and go back upstairs, you will get together with those people that you called your worst enemies or you had the most hatred and anger for, and you're going to have a really good chuckle. Boy, I played that role really good. Had my head up that dark place really well. And you will celebrate it. Your soul celebrates again everything that you experience, what you call the positive co-creating experiences with others and the negative. And the only way that you're going to succeed in your healing on this level, or mastering the fears that keep you from being who you really are, is to celebrate all the negative experiences you've ever had. If you do not celebrate them, you are not accepting them. You have to embrace them, because again, on a soul level, you chose them. And the minute you start thinking that way, you know, if you have a negative experience tomorrow with somebody, if your first thought is, why did I create this? What was my soul seeking here? As opposed to saying, that person hurt me, or they're doing something wrong. If you take it back to yourself, why did I create this? Just by thinking that way, you are now thinking in a way that allows you to be in accordance with your own soul. If you judge the other person or blame the other person, you are now thinking in a way that requires you to deny your very soul. So not only do you deny your soul, you deny what you call the light or God, and your ability to link and to receive those energies that come from the source and your own soul. This is again why all the great masters who've ever walked the airplane taught the same thing. Guard your thoughts, keep them positive, to love unconditionally, not to judge. Can you see that? Yes? Well, again, on a soul level, or your soul, first of all, again, exists to explore creation, to explore all the different ways that you can experience life. As I'd mentioned earlier, there are more realms and dimensions in this local universe than there are grains of sand on this planet. Each has a unique energy. This realm is a realm of duality, where you have opposites. And you have an opportunity to explore creating with love, which gives you an opportunity to experience who you really are. And if you create with the energies of fear, it gives you an opportunity to experience who you are not. It gives you an opportunity to experience being a puppet to your own fears, being a puppet and affected by other people from outside of yourself who are also in fear. It's just an experience. Again, to the soul, that pain and suffering is just an experience, and it celebrates it. It's no different than what you would experience in the movie, do you understand? So again, if you have negative experiences with another human being, celebrate those and realize that that other person is one of your soul buddies, and it's not important what that person is, you know, how they act or what they do. It's all that should be important to you is how you respond to them, what goes on within your own consciousness. Do I deal with this situation from a positive, loving place, or do I allow fear to be my master in the situation and continue creating situations that I'm going to have to keep being brought forward on a soul level to master these? Anything that you encounter is something, again, that you've chosen, and if you deny those choices to sort them out, you will find that those experiences will be returned to you at a later date, and usually with a bigger hammer. The soul always seeks to bring into balance everything. Yes?
You bring that soul condition or that into another incarnation. Let's say if you're passed on right now, the next incarnation, will you bring that soul?
You must be psychic, because I was just going to talk about that. If in this lifetime, say you abuse another human being or abuse a child, what would you learn as an abuser? You would have learned what it's like to have power over another being. Do you understand? You would have no clue of what it is like to be that person who's being abused, the terror it instills in them, all the negative emotions that it causes them to experience. So the soul will set up a situation in a future lifetime to experience the other side of the fence, to bring in, to balance that experience, being an abuser and being abused. The soul always seeks to bring everything into balance, yes?
So is it all happening at once, or is it happening the whole time?
Well, for you on this level, because you're If we were to take you outside of creation, outside of the universe, and show you the super universe, you would see a band of energy that has a beginning and an end. Your soul exists outside of creation, so your soul is exploring many different realms or dimensions at the same time. And so you're sitting here as an aspect of your soul, but your soul is also exploring a multitude of other realms and dimensions. So for your soul, it's all happening at once. It can see any aspect of creation from what you call the beginning and anywhere in between the beginning and the end. To the soul aspect that's in creation, of course, you experience, at least on this level, linear time because of how energies are on this level. But your soul, it's all happening at once. You've had deja vu moments, anybody? Do you know why that you have that experience? Yes, when you have a deja vu moment, that is simply when you become momentarily attuned to your own soul and access information that is contained within your soul, because everything you've ever experienced is already within your soul, from your soul's perspective. So deja vu is just a moment of clarity with your greater self. Can you see that? Yes? Do you like being miserable, unhappy, not experiencing love, sharing other people's negative emotions and feelings? Do you like doing this to your own soul? That's what happens when you judge yourself. You limit yourself, you deny yourself. Do you understand? But the trick is to realize that this is, as I mentioned earlier, this is not at this time a loving planet. This is a planet that has been ruled by fear long before humans recorded history. But it is now starting to move into the light in some very powerful ways since it really started happening in the 1950s. These shifts that we're going through, and it's speeding up every day. Actually, every moment the vibrations in this world are increasing. It's one of the reasons why there are so many highly evolved masters coming into this world. You have various names on this planet for them: rainbow children, crystal children, and others. To me, I call them simply energetically sensitive children. One of the reasons these little critters have a lot of problems in this world is because, you know, there's many labels that they place on these children. But for me, none of these children have problems. It's the world that they find themselves in that's the problem. Because they're really energetically sensitive on an energy level, emotional, mental level, they have to pick up on, or they don't have to, they pick up on all the negative thoughts and fears of everybody around them. There's over 7 billion people on this planet, and each one of you is like a miniature radio station. Every thought that you have, you project out into the collective consciousness. So there's a lot of people on this planet living in fear. Mind you, not only does it affect the children, it affects each and every one of you in this room. If you're living in fear, living in judgment. The only way negativity can affect you is if you yourself are carrying negativity in your energy field. The greatest way to protect yourself from other people's negativity is simply to be a loving person. But as I had mentioned, this world has been ruled by fear for a long time. All of you here have inherited fears from your parents. The minute you incarnated into your mother's womb, attached your soul essence to the fetus that was created by your mom and dad, you started sharing in the fears of your parents. Every single thought that you have, who here are parents that have children? Oh, I guess it's been a long day. Yes. Pardon me? So realize, every one of you, you know, your children share in every emotion that you have, every thought that you have. It doesn't matter where you're at or the time of day. You could be on the other side of the planet. If you get angry, guess what happens to your children? You psychically attack them with the negative energies of your anger. Yes. If you worry about your children, any mother who worries about a child is a mother who is refusing to love their child. Worry is a negative emotion. It's a negative energy. It's impossible to be in the light when you're standing in the darkness, and you are in the darkness when fear rules your experience. Worry is a negative energy. So everybody that you worry about is somebody that you are sending negative thought forms, negative energies to. Children come into this world spiritually wide open. Children see energy fields, see auras, talk to spiritual beings, their guides and their angels. But over time, after being in this world, they start shutting down to their spiritual abilities. It's normal to see energies. It's normal to communicate telepathically or energetically. That is normal. It is not normal not to be able to do that. All life on this planet communicates on an energy level. All the animals, the plants, communicate energetically with each other. It is only humans who shut down to their ability to do that by allowing fear to be their master. But if you see two people who really love each other, you two love each other? Been married a long time?
We're not married, but still love each other.
Do you know each other's thoughts from time to time?
Oh, yeah.
When you truly love another human being, you will find that you will be in tune to their energies. You will know what they're thinking without them having to talk about it. Mind-to-mind contact is normal. What you think, you project. I'm from Canada, but here, in the States, your Air Force or U.S. Air Force has advanced fighter jets where the pilot puts a helmet on and just has to think certain things, and the plane will respond to the pilot's thoughts, which shows you that what you think, you project energetically. But all of you have had lots of proof of that when you've been around somebody who's really angry. Doesn't make you feel good, does it? Because they're projecting a negative energy that reflects their anger, their pain. The same as if you're around somebody who's really happy and bubbly, it'll uplift your energies. Our thoughts are energies. So what happens to children in this world is, if parents are not in a loving state, fighting and arguing all the time, and children also get affected by the negative thought forms of the greater collective consciousness of humanity. So as children have to deal with these negative energies, if I was to start screaming and yelling at you, what would you do? You would shut down energetically to me, wouldn't you, to protect yourself? This is what happens to a lot of children. They start shutting down energetically, emotionally, mentally, to protect themselves from the negativity that they're picking up on an energy level. So not only do they shut down to the negativity, but they also shut down to the light. And so when they first come into the world, these little critters here, like this one over here, who sees energies, as they get older, they shut their ability to see and perceive auras, to communicate mind to mind, shuts down. All of you, when you came into this world, were powerful clairvoyants. You could see energies, you could feel energies. If you look at little children, often they will look around a person's body because they're looking at the colors, the energy. Another thing that happens to children is they could be sitting there talking to one of their guides. Mom or dad or somebody will come along, what are you doing? Oh, I'm talking to so-and-so or this or that. Oh, that's not real, that's just your imagination. Now, so to a child, mom and dad is one of the most powerful persons in their experience. So if mom and dad says it's not real, it's got to be true. Do you understand? It is impossible to love if fear rules your heart on any level. This planet is full of people who say, I love my parents, my husband, my wife, my children, but if you on any level carry any kind of judgments in your heart, you are not coming from a loving place. I work with a lot of parents who have children with what they call problems. One of the questions I've had thrown at me a lot, especially by moms, is why is my son or my daughter more violent with me than anybody else? The reason for that is because mom typically are a lot more open to loving than most men are. And so mom has all this love for their son or their daughter, but she also has, you know, the child's been violent and destructive, and so she could be afraid of that child, but also worry about what's going to happen to my child. So the love flows from the core of her being, goes through those fears, and what that child gets is a big blast of negativity that is empowered by mom's love, which pushes that child further out of its center, which allows the fears that are affecting that child to have greater control over that child in that moment. Can you see that? Yes?
So a mother could have a lot of love for a child, but if the child's being blasted with negative energy, then he thinks that that mother is negative towards the child and not being able to see the love behind it, which can influence the child for the rest of their life.
Well, yes, well, anytime, you know, all of you have have fears, do you not? That are a consequence of your experiences as children with your parents. Now, your parents, in their heart of hearts, you know, their desire, of course, is to love, but they also have been brought up when they were children in a world that is ruled by fear. These fears are passed on from generation to generation. And one of the reasons that's happened, again, because this is a dark planet. Spiritual truth has not been something that has been allowed to flourish on this planet. You know, these things that I'm talking about, free will, non-interference, you create your own reality, to love unconditionally, not to judge, are within all of your what you call great religions on this planet, but they've been hidden and polluted by all kinds of dogma and stories. And a lot of our religions give you justification for judging. To embrace any particular religion requires you to judge all the others. So right off the bat, you're screwed. Yes?
I have a question. So when parents have a child, and whether they're autistic or have some type of disability or something, and you're working with them, so you're working with the child and you see your raised energy. How do you know that the child, or can you tell when the child is here to be in that broken or different body and not supposed to be changed, opposed to changing the energy and helping that person be the best that they can be, or maybe healed or whatever that's called? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you accept, as a parent, how do you accept that perfect child and that fine line between healing and pushing for that child to be more and accepting exactly the way they are? And when do you know that balance?
Well, the way to know that balance is to have a strong connection to the truth of who you are. Now, there's children that'll come into this world who are teachers, and they'll come into this world with what you call deformities. And that child will afford a lot of opportunities for everybody around them to either judge that child, feel sorry for that child, or to love that child unconditionally. There's children that are soul aspects that will choose to come into this world and die shortly after birth, or at the time of birth. But you will find there's always a reason for it, and there's always wonderful opportunities for everybody involved in those situations. There's a reason behind everything that happens in creation. The trick is to be in a place where you can perceive the reasons. And the way to do that, again, is very simple. Be connected to the truth of who you are. Be a loving person. When you're a loving person, you connect to your greater self, your higher self, or your soul, whatever you want to call it. You're now connecting to your greater self up here, which allows you to see the bigger picture. If fear is your master, again you deny your own soul. You become an island unto yourself in the sea of humanity, and your ability to perceive the bigger picture goes right out the window.
Yeah, when you say even on a personal level, so your ability to experience another human being, whether they're 10 days old or 110 years old, there isn't really a timeline there. If you're experiencing them, you're feeling them. You're experiencing the essence of who they are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, getting back to this judgment stuff. And that was mentioned earlier when I was talking to Source in the higher realms. Every time I had a question around what I perceived to be something wrong in the world, again, the answer I always got back was, it's perfect. Now when I look out in the world and I see people engaged in negative creating, do you know what my response is? It's perfect. But I'll say something, boy, that person's doing a hell of a job in exploring the energies of fear. It's not what I would choose, but I understand they're a free will being exploring the energies of fear in this realm of duality. By again saying it's not what I would choose, I stay in a place of non-judgment. I no longer, had I judged them, I would instantly be linked to them on an energy level that reflects my judgments and the fears that empower my judgments, and be sharing my energies with them and their energies with mine, and whatever fears were ruling their experience and whatever fears were ruling my experience, so that give me cause to judge. By honoring the free will of other beings, you stay in a place that represents the truth of who you are, your higher self. Can you see that, sir? Can you see some things that would serve you well to change? Good man. You got some really cool energies. You're a powerful healer. Did you know that? You just got to be afraid of that love stuff. Or stop being afraid of it, I mean. Any questions? Yes?
I'm having a little difficulty these days trying to adjust my thinking in a way that is not destructive to myself or anybody else.
Cool.
Because I hear, as we all are hearing now, a lot of talk about, especially given the economy and so on, the so-called experts who are talking about looming shortages, how people need to be, ordering in, supplies of food that need to fix their water. And I tend to reject this because I don't really see this happening. But there's this little thing in the back of my mind that says, what if I'm wrong? And I find myself the stupid one who just didn't do anything, because I believe none of
So
this
do you
is
worry
happening.
about it?
Once in a while, not a lot, but once in a while, yeah.
Well, if you worry about it, again, worry is a negative emotion which requires your energies to be negative, which means you destroy your ability to link and commune with your own soul and what you call your guides and angels. So what you can do is when you go to bed at night, is just pose that question to your greater self. Give me the answer in the morning or at some point in my day. But realize that we're all part of a collective consciousness. So the important thing is there's a lot of people on this planet who gain wealth and power by feeding off of people's fears. And so the trick is not to buy into those fears. The trick is to invest your energies in seeing the world the way you desire it to be. Positive, loving, everybody getting along. We create our reality with the thoughts that we empower. The state of your energies is simply determined by how you think. If you think in positive, loving ways, your energies are going to be positive and loving. You connect to the light. If you dwell on negativity, your energies are going to be negative. You disconnect from the light and you go into what we call the darkness. Now, one person coming from a loving place has more power than all the people living in fear. So the trick is to live yourself, your life from that place, to envision your world, your reality in a loving way, the way you would choose to experience it. Then that's what you will create for yourself. And something could go on where everybody's having difficulty around you, and you'll be fine.
That's basically what I do believe.
Yes. Well, you're a powerful. You're a master. You're a powerful clairvoyant. You got to get rid of some of that guilt stuff. Now, when we say that's always the problem, remember, you are here to explore your creative abilities in the realm of duality. So, again, as I'd mentioned, your soul celebrates everything. Now, as we talked about earlier, that you're all aspects of Source, and that simply means that you're unlimited beings, right? If you see anything as a challenge or a difficulty or hard, again, you are denying the truth of who you are, and you will experience things as being difficult or hard. Can you see that? You are what you think. If you desire to open up to who you really are, it's the easiest thing in the world. Do not judge. Guard your thoughts. Keep them positive, loving, and unlimited. See everything, no matter how difficult you perceived it in the past, as simply a wonderful opportunity to explore who you are, how capable you are, how unlimited you are. How are we doing for time here?
It's almost 10 after.
After?
9.
Oh, so we got lots of...
Let's do like 15 minutes, then we'll do some Q&A. Actually, we can go as long as we want, because we have...
Well, no, there's more I'd like to talk and do, but I just didn't want to be running out of time here with you.
We're good. 20 minutes.
There's nobody behind us in this room, so I think.
Cool.
It's when people that are around you are all negative. It's just over here. I mean, I find if I just hold my space.
Well, you see, your ability to hold your space when you're around a lot of negative people is going to be determined by your own consciousness and whether you are judging or not judging. When I see somebody, I work with children who have really dysfunctional homes where there's a lot of abuse going on and have what from other people are a lot of problems. You know what I think when I see that child? Cool, good little guy. He's learning some powerful lessons. And I see whatever's going on in his experience as an opportunity to teach that child to come into their power. I don't feel sad for them, because in order for me to feel sad for them, I have to be in judgment of what that child's chosen. Even though it's a child, it's still an aspect of Source who's chosen this experience. When I see somebody out in the world having a difficult time or dying, I've had lots of people come to me saying, I'm dying of this disease or that disease. Do you know what my response is? Cool. Good for you. Job well done. Yes. If I was to say it's tragic and terrible, I stand in judgment of the choices that they've made exercising their free will that brought them to that place. The minute I move into judgment of how they've exercised their free will, I move out of the light. And I no longer can connect to my greater self to bring in the energies and the knowledge necessary to help that person understand that they've created their own reality and how to heal themselves. When I first got into all this woo-woo stuff, I realized I could wave my hand and change energies in other people and cure physical things. And I realized very fast that that's not what a real healer does. To me, a real healer is simply a teacher. If I went around fixing people's physical problems, what would they learn? No, they would not come into their power. They could continue allowing fear to be their master and not having to deal with the consequences, because I would take the responsibility for them. Yes?
My life was saved when I was 13 by a powerful healer who changed my physical situation. I would have been dead, not long after that. And I can certainly say that by his doing that, I've had an amazing life of enriching experience.
Do any fears rule your experience?
Excuse me?
Do you have any guilt, sadness, worries?
About certain things.
Now, imagine had that healer showed you how to do that for yourself.
Well, I don't know how I would have moved my own collarbones at the age of 13, so I don't know.
Well,
He literally changed my bone structure.
and how did he do that?
I don't know. He had this heat, this electricity that came out of his hands when he came near me and touched, didn't even touch me. It was very powerful. He cured cancer routinely and all kinds of stuff.
Put your pen down for a sec. Your purse. Feet flat on the floor. Everybody try this. All of you are aspects of God. All of you are teachers. All of you have the potential to do what you call healing. All of you come from the same place. Maybe stand up to do this. Just go like this. This is what I call power mode. As soon as I do this, I automatically connect to my greater self. We'll just do a little clearing and we'll try some of this woo-woo stuff. Closing your eyes. Because energy follows intent, I'll just get you to repeat after me. I open to source on all levels. With each breath that I take, my love, my light is increasing. I release from all levels of my being, all fear, all limiting thoughts, all the negativity I picked up from others that are none of my business. I call on my source self, my universal self, to merge with me in this reality. I give permission to the Lords and Masters of Light, the Archangels and Angels of Light, to assist me in my awakening, bringing my energy fields and centers into alignment with the truth of who I am. I send this message to those beings I ask to assist me from a level of spirit before incarnating, my guides and angels. Your coffee break is over. I am ready now to explore my unlimited self, to create from a place of love in all of my choices. Now, keeping your eyes closed, breathing deeply, we're going to enhance the energies in this room, bring down pillars of light into the tops of your heads. The purpose of this energy is to spin up your centers, to bring you into alignment with the truth of who you are. I am love. I am light. I am source manifest. I am perfect. I'm intelligent. I'm creative. I'm awesome. I'm totally cool. I'm a walking, talking light machine. I'm a walking, talking love machine. I radiate love and light with every cell of my being.
I radiate love and light with every cell of my being.
I am perfect.
I am perfect.
I am totally cool.
I am totally cool.
I'm unlimited.
I'm unlimited.
I am source manifest.
I am source manifest.
We merge our love and light on all levels.
We merge our love and light on all levels.
With everyone in this room.
With everyone in this room.
And all the beings of love and light.
And all the beings of love and light.
Transmuting all negativity in our space.
Transmuting all negativity in our space.
Shielding it with love.
Shielding it with love.
Filling it with love.
Filling it with love.
Now take 3 or 4 deep breaths, making this your intent, to merge your light, your love with everyone else. Now open your eyes, please. Holding your hands out like this. And again, as energy follows intent, repeating after me, please. God, that weird guy Michael, says I'm a healer. I release into the light all the fear-based thought forms. I've empowered in denying my truth. And I open to my unlimited self. My love, my light, is flowing from the core of my being, out through my hands. Now do this. Cool, isn't it? Can you feel that? It's really, really important that when you see somebody else on their path, including that healer friend that you were talking about, do you understand? You see anybody on what you call a spiritual path, if you see them better than yourself or put them on a pedestal, the first thing that you do is you deny those same abilities within yourself. Just like that dude Jesus said, all that I can do, you can do and more. But if you put somebody on a pedestal, then you deny those things that you see in that person within yourself. You would be better off to say, thank you, buddy, for showing me what I can do if I so choose. Nobody's better than anybody else. We're all capable of the same things as aspects of Source. That means all of you are capable of manipulating energies, others and your own. But for me, I won't do that anymore with other people. Little children and certain people I will help if I'm guided to do it, do you understand? But if I was to go around fixing people, then I'd become another Messiah on this planet. And this planet has already gone through that, and look at the consequences of people believing in a Messiah. The only way this world is going to come into its place of peace is by individuals empowering themselves as opposed to giving their power away to messiahs. Cool. Now, who here has used sage to clean their homes of negativity? You like denying your own power, I see. Try this. Well, that's cool. We'll show you something that's a heck of a lot more effective. Going back into power mode. I open to my unlimited self. I merge with my source self. My universal self. And I radiate in my home. My love, my light. Transmuting all negativity. Keep your fingers spread and wide apart and straight. I transmute all negativity.
I transmute all negativity
with my love.
with my love,
With my light.
with my light.
I shield my home with love and light.
I shield my home with love and light.
So it's a healing, peaceful place.
So it's a healing, peaceful place.
Now just make that your intent. Even though you're here in the Hilton, your energy right now is at your house doing the very thing that you said, because energy follows intent. Can you not feel the energies coming out of your hands? This will be more powerful than using crystals, sage, or anything else. You create your reality from an energy level, from your consciousness. So the most powerful way to deal with reality, the physical reality, is from your higher self, your consciousness. A lot of human beings on this level try to deal with their spiritual reality from their physicality. They work from the bottom up. You'll find it much more effective coming from the top down. Your physical body is given form by your higher energy bodies. Before you experience physical disease on this level, if you look at somebody's energy field, you'll see fear in their energy field, which disrupts the energetic pattern, the grids of their higher energy bodies, which ultimately give form to the physical body. Cool, you can sit if you would. Or one more thing. Who here has children? Well, we'll talk, have a seat and we'll talk about children for a moment. Can you accept that there are negative entities in this world? What human beings call evil spirits, demons, or devils. They do exist. They're simply beings who came from the light, soul aspects who came from the light, and there's a few who are actually full-fledged souls compared to your aspects who chose the darkness, but that's another story for another time. But these beings came from the light, and just like you, they're energy beings. They require energy in order to maintain their life force. And so, they are constantly endeavoring to link to human beings to feed off of your life forces. But the most powerful energy sources for these beings in this world are children. Because children come into this world pure, innocent, big energy fields, and hence, because of their lack of fear. Haven't you noticed a lot of children don't have a lot of fears? Because of their lack of fear, they have a strong connection to Source, to their own souls. And these beings, in their quest to seek energy, will psychically attack these children at night. This is why children have nightmares, night terrors. And you'll find that most of you as children had nightmares and night terrors. Any of you having here who have children who are experiencing nightmares? Would you like to know how to help them? Well, the first thing again is, as parents, it's important that you master your fears. Because if you have fear ruling your experience, you create packets of negativity that reflect those negative experiences in your life that are a consequence of fear. And you're automatically open to the darkness. It doesn't matter how much you pray or meditate or do anything. As long as you carry negativity in your energy field, you will find yourselves being affected by other human beings who are in fear and other beings who are not in physical embodiment who are in fear. We just won't invite you anymore. So it's important as parents that you make your priority to master your fears, because again, your thought forms are energetically imprinted on your children. Over the years, I've seen many children who have said, when I grow up, I'm not going to be like mom or dad. Then they grow up, get married, get jobs, and then when they have to deal with what you call the stresses of life on this level, they start responding the same way mom and dad did. And the older they get, the more they become like mom or dad. because of that energetic imprinting we were talking about earlier. So if you desire your children to be loving, peaceful, honest, truthful, and fearless, or loving, that requires you to be that way yourself. To ask the child to be something that you are not doing yourself is not going to work and is very confusing to the child, energetically. But this, well, stand up. Who here knows children? Got relatives that have children? Would you like to help them? Everybody that would like to help them, stand up. Because children are one of the children we can help without interfering in the universal law of non-interference, because children are the responsibility of our societies. Prior to us getting religion and other things in this world, children were brought up by the community. Everybody took responsibility in looking after the children and raising them. So we can do the things we're going to do now, protection for children, but you cannot do that for other adults. But you can do it for children. So going back into power mode, closing your eyes. I am Source Manifest. I merge with my Source Self, all of my higher selves. And I radiate my love, my light, to my child, or children if you have children. I surround them with my love on all levels. Now in your mind, see that child or children in a bubble of energy. See it a brilliant silver. Now energy needs intent in order to be effective, so make the purpose or the intent of that energy to reflect any negativity coming their way back to the senders instantly. Repeating after me again. I sever all links and bonds.
I sever all links and bonds
in their experience, that are not loving. So again, in your mind's eye, see that child or children in a bubble of silver energy, completely encasing their energy fields. And again, severing all links and bonds in their experience that are not loving, and fill that bubble with your love, with your light, so that they're in a healing, peaceful place. Cool. Could you not feel the energy flowing through you? Those of you, again, that have children, get into the habit, whenever they pop into your mind, to bubble them. Cleanse and clear their bedrooms. Shield their bedrooms. Fill it with your love and light, so that they are not interfered with by negative entities. Shield your homes, transmute the negativity in your homes, so that you have a peaceful home, full of love and light. You can all sit again if you would like. Now earlier we did that exercise where you gave permission to the Lords and Masters of Light, the Angels of Light, to assist you, did you not?
Yes.
Did you mean it?
Yes.
Well, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get that assistance. It's happening even now as we talk. There's changes going on in your energy fields.
Can you see those changes?
Yes, so can you. Now, the trick again is to remember that you learn through experiences. So what you're going to find at times is negative thoughts coming into your heads, negative emotions. Let's say you start feeling angry. What you can do is say, God, I'm really angry. Cool. Good for me. It's coming out. I embrace this anger in love and light. I transmute it. I transmute all the negativity that is a consequence of that experience that allowed me to be angry. And I return the experience to my higher self. Now by doing that, by transmuting the negativity of those negative experiences, you clear the negative energies out of your energy field. And by returning the experience to your higher self, you return the knowledge that is a consequence of that experience to your greater self, or you chose to have that experience so you could gain that knowledge. Yes?
It kind of lost me there for a second. Can I give you an example of anger? Okay.
Yes.
I listen to KPFK a lot, you know, our public radio station, listener-supported radio. Mm-hmm. And they're very honest about a lot of bad things that are going on in the world, and I find myself angry about some of these stories in a way that is very uncomfortable. But outrage and indignation. Mm-hmm. Now, using the example you just gave, can you use that as a concrete example of what I can do when I feel that way?
Well, first of all, kiddo, when you listen to the radio station and you're hearing people talking about situations in the world that make you angry, what I would be doing would be saying, cool, boy, those guys are doing a hell of a job in exploring the energies of fear. It's not what I would choose, but understand they're free will beings exploring the energies of fear. You stay in non-judgment. It's impossible to get angry when you're not embracing judgment. But more importantly, if you allow yourself to get angry because of what you're hearing about the co-creating experiences of others, you deny the truth of who you are, you deny your own soul, you deny the light, you deny God. You move into a place of darkness, and you use the energies you put behind your judgments to link to all of those people, to allow them then to feed off of your life force, and you get to share in the negativity that's ruling their experience. Cool. It is cool. Again, when I look at anything negative in the world now, my response is cool. It's not what I would choose. And you see, by doing that, and this is the only way that this world is going to know peace, is by people stopping their judgments around other people. If you desire to open up spiritually and come into your power, then the only thing that you need to be concerned about is where you're coming from within your consciousness. Is this a loving choice, an unlimited thought, or a fearful thought, a limited thought? Everything that you judge is something that you are supporting. So if you keep investing your energies in the things in the world that you resent and despise, you are allowing those things to continue happening. If you desire to have a world where everyone recognizes each other as brothers and sisters and to live in harmony with each other and all the other life forms on this planet, then be concerned about where you're coming from. Let everybody else be whatever they choose to be. Try that for the next 2 weeks. Releasing judgments, focusing only on where you're coming from in your consciousness. You'll be amazed at how different your life will be.